Good morning, everyone. For those who just joined us, we will start our talk at in a short while, about 10 o'clock. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to today's webinar. The title is Why We Need Petrochemical Engineers Now More Than Ever. Thank you for your time here. Okay. Good morning, everyone. Okay, now we will start our webinar. Welcome, everyone. Let me introduce myself. My name is Lee Won Shang. I'm from UTAR. I'm also the KLESF Secretariat. Welcome to today's webinar, Why We Need Petrochemical Engineers Now More Than Ever. Thank you for your time and being here today. The objective of this webinar are, first, to generate interest in secondary school students to pursue tertiary education in engineering field. Second is to provide insight on life as engineer through sharing session with engineering graduates. Today, we will be looking at the following question that you may wonder. Like, fluctuating price of oil makes me feel insecure to pursue a career in petrochemical field. Is renewable energy going to replace the oil and gas industry? And also, what can I expect from being an engineer? Let's explore the petrochemical industry, one of the major contributors to the Malaysian economy. Learn how the petrochemical industry is expanding at national and international level. Discover the opportunities in petrochemical industry and take part in our sharing session with engineering alumni from UTAR on life as an engineer. We will be having a Q&A session at the end of the talk. If you have any question, please type them into the Q&A box. Okay, now I would like to introduce our speaker today. We have three speakers today. First speaker is Dr. Yamuna Munusamy. She is an associate professor at the Department of Petrochemical Engineering, Faculty of Engineering and Green Technology, UTAR Kampar campus. Second speaker is Mr. Yeong Ming. He is a petrochemical engineering graduate 2020. He is an executive management trainee at Air Elastic Sweden Berhad. And our third speaker is Miss Shimala. She is a petrochemical engineering graduate 2018. She is a QA QC engineer at Macro Dimension Concrete Sweden Berhad. Now, without further ado, we will turn the time over to Dr. Yamuna, Mr. Yeong, and Miss Shimala. Thank you.
Okay, good morning, everyone. Thank you to Miss MC for giving the introduction. So first and foremost, I would like to welcome the participants. It shows your commitment to be here together with us in this webinar on a Saturday morning on a long weekend. Okay, so when we started to host this webinar, we choose the title with the question, why we need petrochemical engineers more now than ever? Because mainly we choose this title because what's happening around us, you can witness the fluctuating oil price, and then during this movement control order, in fact, I think half of the world population is now have some restriction to move around, so they are very less usage in terms of fuel. So the future of the petrochemical industry seems to be a bit blur or bleak. Okay, so we hope that this webinar will give you a better view on the future of the petrochemical engineering, and you will have an answer to this question at the end of our presentations. So before I continue, the first thing, let me tell you the story of oil and gas industry. I think some of you, if you are in Form 4, Form 5 or Form 6, you know some part of this story. So the crude oil, okay, is formed by deposition of fossil 300 to 400 million years ago in the sea. And these fossils are covered by sand and sleet. And nowadays we drill, and due to the pressure and temperature, this fossil is turned to oil. Okay, so this oil, the oil that we drill, okay, from the bottom of the earth, is normally black and very viscous, and it then to be further processed, okay, to be used in our daily life. However, if you think that this process has just been developed 100 or 200 years ago, that is not true. Even Romans tried to drill oils, but maybe the technology was, of course, the technology is not advanced as now. Okay, so when we talk about the oil and gas industry, what always comes to your mind is the rig. Okay, the big platforms, the infrastructures, how they drill offshore and onshore. But this is not true. Okay, the petrochemical industry have three stream, which is the upstream, midstream, and downstream. So when we say upstream, upstream involve the exploration and production. So means we find where is the oil. Okay, then we drill the oil to the surface of the earth. Okay, that's the only thing happens in upstream. Then in the midstream, what we do is we transport this oil to the processing or to the petrochemical facility. So it involves a lot of pipelines, tankers, shippings, also a lot of infrastructures. And then comes the downstream. The downstream is the industry that actually convert the crude oil to useful product that you use in your daily life. Okay, so what are the finished product of crude oil? So I think everyone has seen this column, distillation column is in your textbook. Okay, in fact, when I was schooling, I need to memorize this column, okay, for exam, of course, okay. So in this, whenever you see this picture, it gives you an image in your mind that most of this crude oil is used for transportation purpose. So if there are no need, if the crude oil is not used for transportation, then the industry is meaningless, okay? It looks like that because you see there's a picture of car here, there's a picture of aeroplane here, truck, ships. So it seems like a lot of this crude oil is used for transportation, as fuel and for energy, okay? But the truth is, if we just randomly pick these 30 products, okay, out of these 30 products, I just take some random 30 products, 29 of these products are made from crude oil, okay. So some of the product that I like to highlight here is the fertilizer, okay, all the plastic products. Okay, why there's an aircraft here is not because of the fuel, the body of the aircraft, okay, your handphone, your laptop, crayons, even medicines, okay, medicines, and your braces, all is made from crude oil, okay. This is just if we pick 30. If we pick more, then we will have more, okay. So it's like the crude oil actually plays a more role in your life than the fuel for the transports, okay. So previously what happened is, in fact, before 2019, what happened is in a barrel of oil, okay, so we drill the crude oil and then we normally, okay, market it, we count in terms of barrel. So one barrel is around 159 liters. Okay, out of this one barrel of oil, 46% is used for as gas, for energy, okay, for cooking, your cooking gas, to generate electricity, okay, so it's a natural gas, okay. And then 26% is used for diesel and other fuels, 9% is used as a jet fuels, and only 15% is used to produce the products that I show you here, okay. So this was the trend, okay. But what happened is, since lately, okay, there's less demand for crude oil for energy and transportation. So whatever you hear, okay, that we are going to use oil less in car, we are going to use oil less in trucks, is true, okay, it's not a lie, okay. This is because the development of renewable energy, okay. So that you can see there's electric car, there's hybrid car, now they are developing hydrogen fuel cell. So that is true. And in fact, even to generate electricity, the usage of renewable energy is becoming more and more, and they are becoming price competitive because of incentive given by the governments, especially the European governments, and also because of the development of the technology itself. So the price is getting lower and becoming comparable with the price of the energy generated from oil, okay. So, and then of course the ever fluctuating oil price, okay. So during the MCO, if you realize, the RON 95, for example, I think the lowest price was 1 ringgit 30 something. So it's very low, okay. So when the price is getting lower, the industry cannot generate much income, okay. And then you will see in the newspaper retrenchment and all those things. And of course the impact of pandemic. This pandemic has left the impact to the overall global population, that there's restriction of traveling, there's impact in airlines industry, so there's less use of fuel. And the whole way of us operating things. For example, this webinar, previously maybe we will do a physical, you need to travel to Kampar or you need to travel to KL to participate in this webinar, but the costs have changed and it's going to continue like this, okay. And of course there's a concern about depletion of resources. I have heard when I'm small that the oil is going to finish in 20 years, but it doesn't happen because the technology for exploration also have increased, okay. So now we are going for shale gas, all those kind of things. So the uncertainty of the usage of crude oil for energy and transportation is definitely there. We cannot deny that. So how the industry is changing? What happened is there are less demand for oil, for fuel and energy, but there's more demand for petrochemicals. Okay, this is because of the increasing population. Okay, as the world population increase, you need more product to use. For example, as I showed in my slide previously, you need to fertilizers. Okay, the NPK fertilizer is made from oil, crude oil. Okay, so we have a big plant in Bintulu, for example, to make a fertilizer. Okay, so as the population increase, you need more food. So you need more fertilizer. So you need more petrochemicals. So the demand is shifting from transport to petrochemicals. And of course, improvement of our lifestyle. As our lifestyle improve, we tend to buy more products. Okay? We tend to use more products, and this will increase the demand for petrochemicals. And the Industrial Revolution 4.0 is going to improve the manufacturing to a massive level, okay, with lower cost, and this will also increase the demand for petrochemicals and globalization of the market. You can sit in Malaysia and buy something from China or buy something from America. So this will increase the demand for the petrochemicals because there are more demand for products. So there's a lot of opportunity in the field of petrochemicals. So I have prepared some articles. Okay, these articles is just published. Okay, in 2020. Okay, I have selected the articles from 2020 for your year. For example, this company Saudi Aramco. Okay, currently in their facility, they only convert 15% of the barrel to petrochemicals. But by 2025, they want to convert 45% of the barrel to petrochemicals. So I also have put the link here, the URL link here for you to refer back to the article. Okay, so this article is an example that the companies are now investing on petrochemical, and they are moving from the usage of crude oil for oil itself to petrochemicals. Okay. And then this is Reliance Industry Limited. Okay, this is the world's biggest petroleum refining complex. So they are moving. Okay, if you read this news, Reliance plans clean fuel replacement, which means for transportation, they want to focus on hydrogen fuel cell. Okay, if you go through this article, but they want to use their oil, the crude oil, for petrochemicals because these have more value. Okay, because from 1 liter of oil, okay, you can sell 1 liter of oil at 1 ringgit 30 cents. But if you make a petrochemical product, okay, you can sell at higher price. Okay. Then this is another news from the Indonesia. Okay, gas distributor is looking to tap into petrochemical industry. So they are also moving. Okay, if they want to use the natural gas to produce petrochemical products rather than to use it for energy applications. Okay, and this is an article by Hydrocarbon Technology. Okay, refiners embrace integration with petrochemicals amid weak fuel demand. So this is an article on how the refiners are moving to the petrochemical conversion rather than using the oil for fuel. Okay, and this news was just published in July. Okay, and it was in Bulletin Utama. The government, the Sarawak government, proposed to change their petrol industry to a petrochemical hub. Okay, which is expected to create 74,000 new jobs. Okay, and contribute additional 16 billion to 20 billion per annum to the state gross domestic product. Okay, so this is the trend now, and this is a new petrochemical integrated hub, but we already have the Pengerang integrated petrochemical complex already finished building the facility, the infrastructure. This is actually a petrochemical storage and also a refining complex, okay, in Johor. So we are at the final stage, and it's almost now commissioning and in operational stage. So there's a lot of opportunity in this integrated complex. Okay. So going back to my question, Due to the COVID-19, the fluctuation of oil price, depletion of resources, and the development of renewable energy, how is the petrochemical industry future? The answer is full with new opportunities. Okay, because the demand is shifting from oil for fuel and energy to petrochemicals. Okay, so if you later we have speaker 2 and speaker 3, our petrochemical engineering graduates who were hired less than I think not less than 6 months, just after graduation they are hired for job. Okay, so maybe they can give you more insight on their experience on being a student and also their working life as an engineer. Okay. So for further information, you can always contact us at Department of Petrochemical Engineering, Faculty of Engineering and Green Technology, UTAR. This is my email address, my handphone number, and the office, our general line number. Okay, thank you. I'll pass to the second speaker.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Yamuna, for the interesting sharing and introduction from MC. So I will have a quick share on my experience in study and working in petrochemical based industry. So first, I'm actually a recent graduate from UTAR Kampa campus, and my background is petrochemical engineering, as you know. Then I start my career life since last month, which is 1st of July, in Air Elastic Industries Sdn Berhad, on position of executive management trainee. So Air Elastic Industries Berhad is actually a rubber line, which is a rubber manufacturer. So we produce half semi-fabricated product, which in rubber sheet form. So first, I would like to share a little bit about my campus life. So in University Tunku Abdul Rahman, Kampa campus, actually, when you talk about Kampa, you can imagine the greenery and all those lakes, beautiful lakes. So we have very conducive and student learning environment. And the facilities, general facilities in university also very complete. We have gyms, we have library, and we have the laboratory with all the equipments. So you can done your research very details, and you can learn a lot of things if you study in UTAR. So, and in campus, we have 2 student pavilions. So you have variety of foods, Chinese food, Malay foods, and Indian foods as well. So, and the most that I prefer is the flexible timetable for class. So you can arrange what time you're gonna study and what time you're gonna rest by beating the timetable before the semester end. And UTAR also provide us with a lot of society and club activities, so you can enhance yourself, your soft skill, your interpersonal skill in terms of what you cannot learn in academics. So you need to enhance yourself. So that's all for campus life. So okay, the question is what I learned in university. So actually I learned a lot of academical and technical skills, and some of the interpersonal skills and soft skills as well. So first we'll go into academical and technical skills. So as a petro engineering students, I have exposed myself in fluid dynamics, which we learn about the fluid behavior. So it's like in a pipeline, how the velocity of the fluid, how the fluid behavior of the fluid change when it meets the bend, how it's straight, and then the velocity is different when it near to the pipeline surface and at the center. So if you're interested, if you study this course, you will learn most very details about fluid dynamics. So for engineering drawing, we are actually using an application so-called AutoCAD to draw what the structure actually can, as you see in the model over here, is a model. So the main purpose of AutoCAD is a common language for engineers, so we can show our ideas, how how does the equipment that we're going to design and how the plant we're going to design is look like afterwards. So you can have the 3D, the top view, the side view is something like your KH. If you ever take KH before, yeah, you did. So you might learn something similar to this. So yeah, we adapt this into our engineering drawing. So programming, we learn about C plus and C double plus. So programming, we learn to how to program how to develop a program so we can use it, utilize in our calculation. Because as you know, engineering is most very related to calculation, and we need to learn math for engineering, which the very specific one is calculus, including differentiation and integration, as you learn in additional mathematics in Form 5 and Form 4, but it's more and more details and more diverse. And for equipment design, yeah, there's the so-called our strength for chemical engineers, because we need to learn how to calculate the cost, how to calculate the dimension, and following all the standards. And for engineer, the occupational safety and health issue is very important, because as an engineer, we need to take care that the workplace is safe enough for the employees. And I also did learn a foreign language during my 4 years study time that I take French, and also provided Thai language, German, and Tamil in UTAR Kampa and more. So, and and I did learn basic economics, accounting, and management. It's like when first I exposed to this subject, I like why I didn't learn this, because it's like not related to engineering. But when I start working, I found that it's very important we learn this, as this will provide us some of the basic management knowledge, so you can adapt to your workings more faster. So this is the plant design diagram. So at plant design, we actually need two of this diagram. Is this on your left hand side is process flow diagram, and left hand side is piping and instrumentation diagram. It's like the blueprint for engineer to explain the project to the others engineers, so they can understand well what you means. So it included some of the standards, some of the piping size. So what are the compartment, what are the unit operation inside, so we can build all the plant more efficient and more fast. And about the interpersonal and soft skill, I learned communication skill, teamwork skill, leadership skill, time management skill, and adaptability. And want to highlight this adaptability is like, because in engineering industry, you need to adapt and you need to implement the theories you learn from university in the real life is very different. So you need to have very high adaptability, so you can suit yourself, and then you can work more efficient in industrial life later on. And problem solving skill, yeah, as important as adaptability, because engineering is about solving the engineering based problem. So we need to have very high critical thinking level, so we can solve the problem quickly and efficiently as an engineer. So about the challenge in uni life, because we have a lot of group assignment and high level examination, tests and quiz, as well as laboratory tests. So the time management is quite important for you, so you can finish all your tasks given in before due dates, so you can reach the balance between study and play. So that's the challenge for me in university life. So about my job scope in Air Elastic, actually my position is executive management trainee, as I mentioned earlier. So I actually exposed to operation and production, which I used to monitor the production line our production line is from the raw material, it passed to the mixture, and then it go into a compound, and then the compound is being roll mill. You can imagine the roll mill as two roller. It pressed through a compound into a thin sheet, and then after that we get to a calendering process. Calendering process you can imagine as lots of rollers, so the thin sheet will go. So we can make sure the thickness is constant throughout the process, and then we go into the roller, and then we get the so-called is semi-fabricated product. It's a rubber sheet, and I used to monitor that and do some quality control. And I learned some. I also need to expose myself with account and management. So, but for this part is quite so-called quite difficult for us engineering student, because we just only expose a little bit in management. But the just now the beam, the basic economics and management, it help you a lot in manage people. So after that, I also learned about something about sales and marketing. For now, I'm not really opposed to expose myself to sales yet, because I'm still new. So I'm learn some figures, how to calculate the sales and what the target. And lastly is logistic and warehouse. So I need to check stock in, stock out from time to time to make sure the raw materials and the product is in place. Okay, so that's all for my part. Thank you. So I will pass over to my other friends, Miss Shimala. Thank you.
Hi, good morning, everyone. Okay, I'm Miss Shimala. I did my Bachelor's of Petrochemical Engineering in UTAR, and then I graduated in the year of 2017. Before joining Petrochemical Engineering, I did my foundation in science also in UTAR, majoring in physics. Currently, I'm working as a QA/QC engineer, quality assurance and quality controller in micro dimension concrete. Okay, why I choose to be an engineer? It's actually quite interesting question lah. The major answer for this will be engineers are in demand. Why I say so is because everything around you is involving engineering. Engineering is nearly everything that we come across in our daily life lah. So for example, food, every plastic or polymer things that around you, and then medical utilities, your drinking water, construction and concrete, water processing, wafer, semicon, all involve some kind of chemical processes. So not only in oil and gas, but once you finish your engineering, you can go into any other field and work as an engineer. Another thing is it opens variety of career opportunities. Petrochemical engineering is just like a title, or just like a how to say, it's a license for your career field lah. But once you get into the real world, people won't call you as a, it's very rare to see people call you as a petrochemical engineer, oil and gas engineer, or chemical engineer. Mostly your title will be different lah. For example, it's like it opens a lot of part. For example, you'll be called as a project engineer, plant engineer, research engineer, QA/QC, or production process. It depends on what kind of part you are choosing to focus on. So each part will direct you to different working environment. But mostly after you finish your engineering, your firm will put you as a management trainee first, and then they will expose you to all the departments like sales, marketing, and then quality control, production, management side. So they will expose you into a lot of department, and then they will select which department that you are good into lah. And then engineers are paid well. Really, this one is a very important thing. That's another major reason why I chose to be an engineer. When you see after you graduate, Okay, this one is a chart I took from jobstreet.com. Currently, the pay scale of oil and gas engineers are nearly like per month will be 4K lah. This one is an average pay scale lah. But oil and gas related engineers like petrochemical or other oil and based industries, they are paying average of 4K per month. This one is after you graduate lah. But most of the firms, they will pay you around 300K, something like that, compared to other field engineers. And then your career growth will be much more like slightly higher compared to other careers lah. And then petrochemical, oil and gas, as you see the chart, your career and then your career growth by year, and then your based on your experience, the pay scale will increase more slightly higher as compared to other careers. And then you will be able to work independently with less supervision. And then for myself, I don't prefer to work 8 to 5 in office. So my job currently, it's like I have to overview plants, and then I have to travel to many places. Not I have to see customer, and then not only like office based lah. You have to work more practically and hands-on stuff of work. Problem solving is really really important as an engineer. So these are most of the reasons why I chose to be an engineer. How UTAR groomed me to be an engineer, especially the course structure that they provide. Their course structure is really good, and then will give you a lot of knowledge guided by experts. Some of we had last time a lot of visiting lecturers who are working on field real life, and then they are able to explain and then expose us with their knowledge and what's happening in real world. So we get to know like a lot of things from them. And they also like promote our ideas and innovation by giving a lot of hands-on projects, and then going plant visits and see what's happening in real world, and how what you study, how is it going to applicable in your career path. Another one is you will be trained to work under pressure, because every time you will have a lot of assignments and then back-to-back subjects and then practical stuffs. So all these you have to finish on time. So you have to multitasking, and then it will be very very important in your real working life. And then problem solving skill, this one is a very very important thing in engineers life lah, because every day you will face some kind of challenges. And then as an engineer, you are not like given step by step to solve a problem. Every day you will see different kind of problem where you cannot find a convention method to solve. You will not be exposed to step by step solution lah. You must come up and then think out of the box to solve some kind of problem. So the decision you are taking must not harm your company name, your reputation, and also it has to be cost effective and satisfy other people. Uh, this is very important, uh, because engineers main career main this thing is to problem solve. UTAR, they will have a lot of presentation where you have to communicate and present your things. These skills are important in your career life, because you have to face your customers, and then your team, you have to communicate with them. You'll have variety of different kind of people. It is challenging to face them and to satisfy them, because your customer, when you have problems, like for example now I'm in quality control line. Sometimes when we have quality defects, customer, they will be like very tempered, because it's stopping or it is giving hurdles for continuing their projects. So you must like know how to communicate and how to satisfy them. Last time when I was studying in UTAR, we have a lot of people with different nature lah. And then the interesting fact is that UTAR prepared me in that sense. we had student exchange programs. Students like came from different kind of countries, and then you'll be able and mingle with them. You know their nature, and then when you exposed to real world, you won't have like struggles or awkwardness to face this kind of people lah. And then communication and communication skill is very important. Okay. Uh, UTAR really trained me practically to strive in real world problems and things like that. So my job responsibilities currently, actually I'm working in micro dimension concrete where we produce premix concrete to construction site. As I told you earlier, every field requires some kind of engineering. When you finish your chemical engineering or petrochemical engineering, not necessarily you have to work in that oil and gas field. You can expose to other field like semiconductor field also. Currently they are recruiting many chemical engineers, and then wafer field, and then construction field. Concrete also we are using some kind of chemicals inside. For example, retarder, super plasticizer, these are a kind of polymer also. So we need this kind of chemicals to produce our concrete. I currently overseeing three concrete batching plant, and I'm in charge person of quality control department for this plant, where I have to supervise and train quality control supervisors and technicians. This one, as I said earlier, when I joined this industry after finishing a petrochemical engineering degree, my salary scale was more similar to someone who finished SPM and have 8 years of experience, you know. So I have to supervise them, and then I have to train them. So your petrochemical engineering degree is like it's a very useful, and then it's like a working life license lah for your salary scale. So every day I have to check my raw material and make stringent check on quality products, and then liaise with customers and deliver their accurate products in a good quality. And then every time when customer have any problems, or they will get back to me, and then I have to find the root cause, what's wrong with the concrete. For example, sometimes we produce concrete to site, the concrete will crack, and then the concrete will not like set or something like that. So I have to come back and then see like what is the root cause, and then I have to find a solution to solve their problem in a limited time that will not harm my company name, reputation, and also I have to do the costing calculations and things like that. Then I have to deal with my technical support department, operations, sales. So I have to liaise with a lot of people. And then I need to maintain laboratory testing facilities, because every materials that we use need to undergo some kind of lab testings. So I have to monitor all these, and then the procedures and result, raw material testing, everything we have to file up for our audit purpose. I have to assist my technical manager to develop new test methods, evaluate, monitor test results, and raw material of concrete. We also have to prepare internal and external audit documents. So we not only have to deal with people, we have to solve the problem. We must monitor our team. We must the leadership skill is very important when you communicate, and then give instruction to people, and then make sure you must like make sure people under you are working things in a correct way, because you are answerable for a lot. You'll be answerable for whatever mistakes they have done. So you have to make sure everything is going in a good flow. And then you also have to deal your customer side, and then marketing side. You have to like see around a lot of things lah. So thank you. I'll pass my slide to MC. That's all from my part.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Yamuna, Mr. Yeong, and Ms. Shamira for sharing about petrochemical industry engineer and also their experience studying UTAR. Okay, so Q&A box. Okay. While waiting for the question, okay. Anyone, do you have any question? Okay, maybe if you feel like you wonder what an engineer do, maybe you can ask us, or Miss Shimala can answer your query. Okay, maybe I just ask Miss Shimala to share her experience. Okay, we have a question. Okay, let me read it. If first time interview, the HR manager asked me the expected salary given, what should I ask?
Miss Shimala, can you hear the question? The question is, what are the in the first time interview, the HR manager asked me the expected salary given. What should I ask?
Okay, you cannot be too demanding lah when you have zero experience. So you have to be flexible. At the same time, you cannot tell them like anything lah. You must be specific but reasonable at the same time. Usually with petrochemical engineering, you can expect a starting pay of 3K, but without any allowance, like your base pay will be 3, like plus your allowance. It depends on your company and your work nature, so you can expect 2.5 to 3.
Okay, thank you, Miss Shimala.
Thank you,
Okay,
Dr.
maybe
Wan.
the question number 2, what are the requirements to study engineering course? So maybe I will answer this question. Okay, for the requirement to study engineering course, if you are from the SPM, okay, then you have to do your foundation or STPM. So we have foundation in UTAR, okay. So it's a 1 year study period, and then it have a package of courses. So you have to go through this foundation, and from the foundation, you must have a pointer of 2, which means you pass all the subject, then you can do the engineering course, okay. So if you are from the STPM, okay, then there's other requirements, okay, like credits, okay, in physics, physics and chemistry, okay, and maths, okay, credits in these subjects, okay, then you can do the engineering course, okay. So if you are from other qualification like A levels or or the other background like UEC, then we have different entrance requirement, which you can contact us for further information, the number that I provided just now, okay, or you can go to our website, okay. So for the third question, what problem did you face when you work? Can give an example or not, okay. So this question maybe to Yeong, what problem did you face when you work?
Okay. Because my working experience is only one month, right? So the problem is, first problem is I cannot really understand the engineering language, because as you graduates, what you learn and what they means and all those code, all those short form is like the polymer name, some of the not really very what we can widely see in our daily life, and some of the standards and how they, some of the machine I also not really familiar with. So that's the first. And the second is on management, how to do the calculation, the laboratory monitoring based documentation. I'm also not really familiar with, but I did learn a lot in past 1 month. I think that would answer your question, because that's from my opinion. Maybe there's another other problem also, can maybe is about the communication with the others engineer, as I mentioned earlier. Thank you.
Okay, there's maybe one more question because limited to the time, okay. How do you compare between petrochemical engineering versus chemical engineering? Okay, so maybe I will answer these questions. Okay, for the petrochemical engineering, it has 70% similarity with the chemical engineering in terms of syllabus, okay, what we teach, okay. But for petrochemical engineering, we are more focused on the petrochemical industry and products. So for example, we are more focused on fertilizer, on polymers, on solvents. So the product which is produced from petrochemicals or from the crude oil. Meanwhile, so our plant design is also more focused on petrochemical, okay. Our process also more focused. Every time we teach you a basic concept, for example, heat and mass transfer concept, which is also taught in chemical engineering. But when we give you assignment or a problem to solve, it will be a more petrochemical engineering problems. Meanwhile, chemical engineering field is very broad, where you also focus on food, on membrane, on wastewater, all those things. Okay, but the fundamental is still the same. 70% is the same. That's the term of similarity and differences. Okay, so Miss Lee, shall we? Miss Lee, we cannot hear you.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. Okay. So it's about the time. So if you have any question, you can contact us, KLESF or UTAR or Miss Yamuna. Sorry, it's Dr. Yamuna. Okay. So before we end, just a reminder. Kindly help us to fill out the feedback form after the webinar so we can improve better. Okay. Thank you everyone for joining us today. We appreciate you being here during this long weekend. If you'd like to know more about KLSF virtual event, please like our Facebook page. KLSF stand for Kuala Lumpur Engineering Science Fair. So we will update more our events at our page. Thank you again for joining us. Thank you our speakers, Dr. Yamuna, Ms. Shimala, and Mr. Yeong. Okay, that's all for today. Thank you everyone. Okay, so we will end our webinar here. Thank you.